Om Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Parabrahmam Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Sadashiva Shamarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryandam Vande Guru Parampara. Om Sakhana Bhavadu Sakhana Bhunaktu Sakhaviryam Karavavage Tejasvina Vadidamastuma Vatvishadake. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Yogena Chittasya Padena Vacham Malam Sarirasya Cha Vaityakena Yopakarotam Prapanam Muninam Patanjali Branjali Maunatosmi. Om Sri Guru Bhyo Namaha. Namaskaram. So in the last class, we were learning the Sutra 27. Tasya Vachakaha Pranavaha.
Tasya Vachakaha Pranavaha.
At the Yoganusashanam, and he started like that I am going to teach you, I'm going to elucidate Yoga Anusashanam, that which has been taught by the Parabrahmam and it's been followed by the Guru Parampara, Anusashanam. And I'm going to give you that so that you use it as Anusadhanam. Continuously, you have to do it. And then we've gone through the different parts of that learning process, understanding what is Chitta, what is Chitta Vritti, what is Chitta Vritti Nirodham. And to do that, we need Abhyasam and Vairagyam. And by using Abhyasam and Vairagyam, we will sort out the Klishtaha Vritti. Vrittis that are causing trouble and delusion, we remove, control, and Aklishtaha Vrittihi we nurture or sustain. And by doing that, the mind becomes, filtered out and becomes purer and purer and purer. And when it becomes purer, then we started realizing the Samadhi. The Samadhi is to be in a state on which we have contemplation on, to be one with, to be approximate with the object of contemplation. And therefore, while we can use the techniques to attain in life whatever we want, because it develops the mind capacity, but we wanted to go beyond this transient nature of this life. Therefore, we started asking the question, because I become one with what I contemplate, what is that I should contemplate on? And also the second question that we had, like Duryodhana, I understand dharma, but I am not able to really follow through this. Help me out. Here he said, we cannot follow through the Abhyasam, Vairagyam. I am getting tempted by the luxuries of life and I get laziness. I am not able to really practice it. Then for the second benefit also for that, Patanjali introduced Ishvara Pranidhanatva. Bring Ishvara. Pranidhana means the presence of the God. How do you get presence of the God? Sankalpat. Sankalpam is what? Sankalpam is what you decide and what you pursue wholeheartedly. You summon. This is very important. You summon the God. And God comes to you. And he doesn't need to take effort because he is not coming. He's not going because he's there. There's no effort on God to come to you because God is there with you. But he is waiting for you to summon him or summon it, whatever. So therefore, there are two benefits by bringing Ishvara into the Yoga Abhyasam. One, it is going to give us the capacity to put the practice that we need. It is also we're going to see in next sutras, it is also going to remove the impediments to this. There are 10, 12, 13 impediments Patanjali is going to explain. It's all going to go when we have Ishvara into the picture. There is a sadhana prayojanam, but the sadhya prayojanam is that because we know Swarupyam, you become that which you contemplate. Therefore, why not I contemplate on the God himself? Because if I become one with this, who doesn't want to be one with God in this life itself? Therefore, Ishvara Pranidhanam is important. So we asked the question, that's great, Ishvaras. Then we said, who is this Ishvara? Then he explained to us that to differentiate from us, because the best form of reference in life is yourself. When we use it to compare and lower ourselves, I'm not rich like him, I'm not bright like him, I'm not strong like him, I'm not beautiful like him. That's not for the reference, but the reference is how I am today, how I was yesterday, how I will be tomorrow. Where do I get the improvement on it? The terms of reference is on us. So same way here, you bring the terms of reference to yourself. Patanjali says you are klesa bound, karma bound, papa punya bound, sukha bound, abhinivesha bound. But Ishvara is a Purusha, the Purushottama, who has got nothing like this. And by the way, he is Sarvagyan. He knows everything. Since you do not know everything. By the way, you are time bound. You are not there 50 years before. You will not be there 50 years after or 100 years after. But Ishvara is there. Kala Dita. So therefore, he had given you a definition based on scriptures and given us the confidence that, yeah, okay. Because you see, who can help us? One who is powerful than us. But then we saw the insight of Patanjali that he, instead of saying Sarva Shaktiman, Sarva Vyabhi, all that is not taken. He would have taken, might as well, those definitions. But he said Sarvagya Bijam. And we saw the reason for that is because everything comes to knowledge. Knowledge is what makes you believe that you exist, you are alive, the awareness. So power, Vyapakam, Prabhavam, everything is built on the knowledge. So therefore he has given insight. Okay, child, if you want to do meditation, dhyanam, upasanam, you meditate on Ishvara. Then I said, okay, but I'm not matured enough to handle the Sarvavyabi because my mind is limited. I need a hold. But you can assume that you have gone through this several steps of worshipping God. Let's assume that one. So I worship this God, I worship that God, I go to temples. Every festival I am Upayakarta, I do that. But I'm still not finding the peace and tranquility and purity of mind. Then he says, okay, because you are doing yoga dhyasam, let us move from the gross to subtle part. Therefore, you take the nama. Then he said, what is the name? Then he said, that name, he said, indicated by pranava. So the pranava we saw also last class. Pranava is a description of something which is excellent, fitting, apt, forever new. That's the name. So if somebody asks what is his name, you say, oh, his name is the most beautiful, marvelous, wonderful, ever-existing name. He's not telling the name, he's telling the capacity or the power of the name. So here he says, Tasya Vachakaha Pranavaha. Then we know by that he meant the sound Om. Then we saw that Om is therefore the name of Ishvara, name of the Brahman. Right. then now we know we can, Patanjali stops there. Then he goes next, okay, now what do I do with Om? How do I meditate Om? So that is next sutra. But we are, intellectual creatures, right? So we don't accept everything very easily. Is it a God's convention just to connect a name to a meaning? And why can't it be calm? Why can't it be Rama? Why can't it be Jesus? It could be all that. But why? What is here? Oh, so this is a question that is in our mind. Therefore, I wanted to really give you very small introduction to the Upanishad, which is dealing with this, called Mandukya Upanishad. And Upanishad is, it will take a long time to explain what Upanishad is, but I think we touched upon it in the Tattva class. Upanishad, that which takes you near to the Brahman, that which destroys ignorance. The Mandukya Upanishad is Mandukya is Rishi who's got revealed. Also, the Mandugam means frog, a special kind of frog or a special kind of a horse, which leaps from A to Z, like that. It leaps. So this is the kind of a Upanishad that if you understand, you get mukti. They even say, Mandukya Upanishad, Ekam Alam Mumukshunam Vimukti. Only by studying Mandukya Upanishad, one can attain mukti. But it is a very, very small but very, very powerful Upanishad. And normally, what I learned is that many scholars will take it at a time when the aspirant have achieved learning other Upanishads. Like if you take Isavasya Upanishad, it says Isavashyam, then Brahma. So it starts like this. The Ishvara is covering everything else. So or the Kathopanishad will come with a story. Taittiriya Upanishad will come with some rituals, and everything has got a grand opening, a story, a context, a question and answer session, a context defined. It's very interesting to learn this kind of Upanishad. And Mandukya Upanishad just straightforward, just big bang, hit you hard on this with the truth. And the truth is about Omkara. And the most treasured explanation for this is, of course, is the Mandukya Karika by Gaudapada. Gaudapada is the Shankara's Paramaguru. So therefore, we saw very briefly, without going in detail, the Guru Parampara, especially to bringing Gaudapada's relationship to Patanjali and all that. So they're not important, but I think it's useful sometimes to revere those people. Sometimes when you have to really, when you think of those people and those avatars, the Mahatmas, the very understanding of the life is a salvation for us, because it's such thing. So okay, that's a different part. So I'm just going to give you very little introduction so that it will be useful. So it is not part Yoga Darshana, but Vedanta, but it's very, very apt. So the first one, I'm only going to take one or two to bring relevance to Om. This is about the Omkara. In fact, I think maybe I should suggest at some stage you should take in Bhagavad Gita, if not done, chapter 8 or chapter 13. All that is 13 is basically about this Akshara Brahma Yoga. So here he says, Om ityetat aksharam idam sarvam tasyopa vyakhyanam bhutam bhavishyat iti sarvam omkara eva yat chanyat trikalapitam tadopyam omkara eva. Om, so this is about the Om, iti, this Om, etat aksharam. Etat aksharam means that, aksharam means that has no eternity. Aksharam means that which never ends. Never ending means never has a beginning as well. It is always there. Satyam. So etat aksharam, we also use aksharam as a matra, a unit of sound. What is a matra? So I can just say, if I take my thumb and then move around my fingers one time, maybe it's one matra, for example. That's the kind of time. So this aksharam, this om, sarvam, everything. Now, you have a question now. Om is a shabdam. Sarvam is everything. Gaseous and solid and all the material gross objects. In fact, by learning Patanjali, we know that Sarvam is Prakriti and Purusha. Is it not? So when he says Sarvam, the Upanishad therefore says the Prakriti and Purusha all together is Om. Then he says Tasya Upavyakyanam. So now he says, I am going to now explain this grand statement I make. Then he goes on to say, Bhutam Bhavat Bhavishyat Iti. Bhutam means what has already happened, manifested. Everything. Bhavat is what is currently there in my. You and I are Bhavat, Bhavati, Bhavat. So what has been manifested before, what is manifested now, Bhavishyati. Whatever is going to manifest in the future, Iti, Sarvam, all that is Omkara. So he's basically explaining what we said before, Prakriti and Purusha. Prakriti is what is coming out in embodiments. What has come before, manifestation now, manifestation in the future. We call it Prakriti because it goes to Prakriti. This change is happening all the time. In Vedanta, we call it Jagat Mithya. He says, Sarvam Omkara. They are also Omkara, Eva, only. Then he says, Yatcha Anyat, that which Trikala Atitam, which is, see what happened, this Prakriti, it starts and ends, therefore it is time bound. But there is something which is beyond the Trikalam. That's a Purusha, Brahman. Tad api Omkara. So this is the first opening, bang opening the Upanishad. So if you come as a regular Upanishad class and say, okay, there's a story going to be there is a context. No, straight away the answer. Then he says the next one, Sarvam Hetat Brahma, I am Atma Brahma, so I am Atma Chatustat. I put in 3 parts. Sarvam Etat Brahma. Etat you can say Etat Brahmahi. So Sarvam Etat Brahmahi. So everything is Brahman. See, now you see the equation there. Before he said Sarvam Omkara. Now he says Sarvam Brahman. So what is the equation therefore? Omkara is Brahman. Okay. Now when you see all this, when you listen to this, you're saying, okay, this is a very grand statement. Okay, very big statement, which is beyond my knowledge because Ishvara cannot be comprehended. And he is giving a different word, Omkara is Brahma, that's fine. I just accept it. Then comes the Mahavakya. What is Mahavakya, if you remember? Mahavakya is a Vakya or a sentence, that import of which brings Jiva Brahma Anupūti. Jiva Brahma Aikya Vakya. So here he says, I am Atma Brahma. It's a Mahavakya. One of the Mahavakyam comes in the Atharvana Veda, this Upanishad. I am means this, Atma, the self, is Brahma. I will not go into this because that's a different session. The I am itself it needs explanation for 3 hours. And Acharyas writes books on this. So, but what for our purpose now, what is now done? Omkara is everything. Omkara is Brahman. By the way, the Atma is Brahman. It's a Mahavakya Vicharam. Vedantam. But Om is the context here. Om is Brahman, Atma is Brahman, therefore Atma is Om. You see? Now our focus is Omkara because we want to use the Omkara Shabdam as our Upasana Laksham. But there are a lot of insight what I'm saying now. Omkara is Sarvam, Sarvam is Brahman, Atma is Brahma, therefore Atma is Omkara. If I am Omkara, then do I have to meditate on Omkara? Yes, because you do not know you are the Omkara. You do not know you are the Brahman. What is the Yoga Sutra's potency is that when you meditate on which you meditate, you become one with that. Of course, you need jnanam for it, of course. That's why we use this as a upayam. Now, okay, why are you talking all about it? Because we are on a Omkara discussion. We come to the last part. He says, so ayam atma chatuspat. So, yeah, so ayam atma. That atma, that means this atma, ayam atma, is chatuspat. It 4 parts. Now, okay, all this part is only to give us a, little steps. We are babies. So everything ekam satyam. But right now we take. Now take back to, so if Atma is 4 part, what does it mean? Atma is Brahman, Brahman is Omkaram, the Omkaram is 4 parts. You see? That's how you should understand this. Now, this is how the Upanishad starts. So if everything is Omkara, everything is thing, then how do I actually understand it more to appeal to me, to assimilate into me? Again, we go back to our technique where you use yourself as a hetu, as your context. Normally in Vedanta, in Tarkas, they call it Purva Pakshi, Siddhantam. Paksham means the context. There is a smoke in the top of the mountain. Then you infer there is fire. So this is a very famous example. So here the mountain is a Paksham because that's where this thing is happening, right? So therefore, how Paksham is that our life experience itself. And in all this thing, in proving this, see, in Vedantam and Siddhantam, they do 2 things. They are not the same. For the purest Advaiti, there's no Siddhantam, only Vedantam. Siddhantam is what? Siddhantam is your Siddham is your mind, your intellect is concluding that this is it. Shaiva Siddhantam, Vaishnava Siddhantam, or any Siddhantam, Yoga Siddhantam. You postulate a theory, you research it, you make conclusion. This is mine. It may be right, it may be wrong, but it is yours. So every when you do a PhD, you write a paper, you say, this is my hypothesis and prove it. This is therefore I publish it. And if you are so strong, you even patent it. Only to disprove by somebody else at some stage. Why? Because Purushaya, everything what mind is making is subject to fallacies. Vedanta doesn't need a Siddhanta because Vedantam is itself, the Veda says. But Vedantam also means Siddhantam is end of thinking. Vedantam is end of knowledge. Why? Because we know that knowledge is everything. That's why this Gaudapadar's one, when you read through, it's staggering, mind-boggling. Sarvajñan means what? Knowing everything else. But if you need to know something else, something must exist. If everything is Advaitam, nothing exists, what is that to know? Is he Sarvagyan anymore? This is where the Nirguna Tattvam comes in. Very difficult to appreciate it at this stage, but let's not go there. So this is what it is. Therefore, this is 4 parts. So we take our life as an experience. So to understand this 4 parts, how come I am Atma, Brahma comes to Omkara and 4 parts, and how do I relate to me? So I'm going to, let's take a Yukti Pramanam so that we do a logical approach so that it's quite easy for us to accept it or understand it. So a statement is, therefore, life is a chain of experiences. Anubhavadhara. You have no qualm about it because everything is an experience, good and bad. When you are unable to experience anything, you cease to be living. So yeah, life is a chain of experiences, yes. But if you accept that, it implies that there is an existence of an experiencer. Is it not? Experience is inert. It's a feeling or a time-bound state of your mind which you reveal in your thought and memory. So therefore, there must be an experience or awareness should be there. You must be aware that you're hungry. If you're not aware of you're hungry, you will not experience hunger. So yes, therefore, I agree that there is an experience or awareness. But this, all of us know, it's a common sense. But we don't give much importance to this. Like we don't give importance to breathing. Like somebody said, in COVID, one of the biggest lessons the guy was saying that I had everything. I have cars and bungalows and everything. But when the oxygen was not there, and I realized that give me nothing but an experience to breathe. And so essentially we don't really seek for it. But anyway, that's the first one. The second one we learn is that there must be an object of experience. You always experience something other than yourself, is it not? You don't say I've experienced myself. No. You experience fine food, fine music, fine book, good company, love, everything. So there is an object of experience must exist. And there must be a means to experience it. An upati is needed. The upayam is needed. So we have no qualms about it. All this is we need. Now then you must take say 24 hours of a day. It's a day, today or yesterday you take it. Therefore, I have experiences yesterday. So if I take about my life, with 24 hours I was experiencing. Then I said, hang on a minute. I went to bed at 10 o'clock and then I got up in the 6 o'clock, maybe 8 o'clock or whatever. So that time, I have no experience. What were you doing? I was in a deep sleep. So if you have to account for your life, that experience is any important to you? Well, I need to sleep. I like sleep. I enjoy sleeping. But in my life, sleep is sometimes unproductive. Maybe it helps me go better, but I love it. But it's not, for me, the primary definition of life. We even ridicule somebody always sleeping. But we realize that it's an experience we go through. And we ignore it because it is full of ignorance. I was like dead. Nothing happened. Just discount that time frame. Okay, in 8 hours is gone. So 16 hours is your life every day? Yes. Then wait a minute. Sometimes I do have dreams. These dreams give me experience. Because, in the dream, I cry, I'm happy, I'm sad, and I even analyze next day why the dream came. And there are dreamologists there and do. They even say, if you had this dream, do this parikara, things like that. So it is coming to me without me asking for it, in a way like deep sleep. But at least deep sleep doesn't come, I go and ask for it, I go and buy a pill. I'm not sleeping, I want to sleep, because you enjoyable. Therefore, you go and ask for it. But dream, you don't ask for it. I don't think there is a dream pill today available yet. And you don't ask for it, it happens to you. It may be enjoyable, but we discount it again as not real. And you don't come next day and say how you suffered in the dream to the world, because nobody wants to know about your dream, because you yourself know that it is not real. That's the word you use, not real. See, because our words are not pure. So we say it's not real, but you enjoyed it. Yes. That means you can also enjoy something which is not real. It seems to be. I can suffer from something which is not real. Seems to be. But we just pass. We have no time to think about it, because I am rushing towards the rest of my time where I am awoke. I'm in Jagrat state. I'm going around seeing things. This is what I count as real. My real life is started at 8 o'clock in the morning and 10 o'clock in the night. I do so many things. I achieve so many things. It's nice, real, because compared to dream, real, because I can see it. If I see it today, I come back tomorrow, I see you there. Pratyabhigya, I can see you there. But not like the dream. So therefore, dream is real. When I am in the dreaming state, but it is not really real, then I say, okay, let me use the word relatively real. Then the question asked, if it's relatively real, when you are in a dream, is your daytime relatively real? It has to be. Because the person who is dreaming has no use of the real world, the so-called real world apparatus. He's got his own experience. So therefore, we said, all this is fine intellectual thought. It doesn't matter to me, because my real world is this part. Therefore, I stop there. But we don't let them go. So therefore, you are saying travel to truth is going from sleep to the awakening state. That's what we think. I've been wasting my time sleeping or dreaming. Let me get up and do the work. Therefore, if my life is going towards that direction, am I traveling to truth that way? Yes. Truth is getting money. Yes, fine. Then you become a charvaka. You go and then you find that the truth completely abandons you. When you have everything but not the oxygen cylinder, when you have everything, you're gone, nobody to help you. When what you loved most is hating you most, then you start realizing time changes everything. Nothing is real. I'm the same person. This person liked me 2 months back. Now he's not liking me because I'm old. I'm not changing myself. My body may be changing. So now you start philosophizing that. You say, I'm not changing. Now we come then, Vedanta is coming there. Well, then maybe let me help you out. What you think is not changing, let's call it the truth. Whatever changing is not truth. I can't say unreal or asset at this stage, because it is there in existence to giving me a different experience at different stages, empirically true, not absolutely true. So Vedanta gives you a help in vocabulary. What is empirically true or absolutely untrue, or which does not have a basis to exist but gives you an experience, You call it mithya. You cannot argue because I'm not challenging your philosophy. I'm just giving you a word to use it so that we have better vocabulary of it. Okay, taken. I enjoy mithya, right? Therefore, when you're waking up the state, that is mithya. Then he says, no. Sorry, you are pushing too hard. I can take dream as mithya. Why? Because when I get up, it is not there. So therefore, you cannot say, like dream, my waking stage also mithya. So the example is, see, this is called a drishtanta siddhi. If you in logic argument, normally you take an example and prove the example with this. The example itself is faulty, then the logic falls, right? So the guy is telling me, or you are telling me, well, that is not a good example because dream doesn't exist next day morning. When you get up, it's gone. Then you say, okay, same way when you get up from your waking state, well, is there a state beyond this? Yes. How do you prove? Well, I cannot prove it now because I am with you in the same state, in this empirical world, the avagarika state. I cannot tell you now that there's another state because I am in the same state. But somebody who is beyond the state has told something, which you should take it in good faith. Like I come to a dream. In the dream, both of us are walking along the Thames and some robbers come, for example. Then I tell you, look, the robbers are coming. Let us run. And you want to run. Then I say, no, don't run really. They are not robbers. They are just dream. They are not real. You will just drop me and you'll run. Because that it is real. Conditioned reality. So therefore, there must be a state. Now you see, whether it is right or wrong, let's just park it a minute. But even that concept, when it is there, it is giving you a tremendous relief. Nobody bothers about the dream next day, especially rational people. They say, look, that dream, just forget about it. It's a nightmare. Imagine the same way the bankruptcy, your business is gone, dull, everything is gone out. And you say, that's fine. This is the dream. Can I do that? Now, it gives you an assurance that that's possible. You may suffer in this, the lack of it is not an enduring suffering because it is past, it is not true. Therefore, the travel to truth that way is vyavakarikam. The travel to this way. Now you see, now the Jagrata state, the state of affairs of the world, is more deluded, more confused. Well, I'm going to save a lot of the argument because it needs to have a very different session, but a lot of questions should come in your mind, logical question to argue against it. And this can all be analyzed. But in a nutshell, in the awakening state, I am more confused because I have more instruments to direct me towards this side. I can see things, I can hear things, I can smell things, I can see physical, tangible things. I can have pratibhijna, I can have a different timing. Dream, there's a timing is different. Chitta kalam is a very limited time. Here it is a different column. But then here he says, yeah, because of so much confusion, now you take out these senses away, the embodiment away, which are anatma, confusing you with samskara, take it away. Then I am resting the mind. The mind is there, the mind is active with samskara and it is creating dreams. At some stage, the Atma says, okay, enough of suffering. It pulls the plug on the mind also. Draw this vritti called nidra. So mind can just see the nidra vritti. Nidra vritti is just science, ignorance. And you are relieved from all the pains. Therefore, you can see now, don't go there and sleep all the time. Because in every state, you need to do what you need to do. The dharma is there. But the progression, so here the sleep that we need, therefore, is not this ignorant sleep, where this nidra vritti is there, I'm doing chitta vritti nirodham, so nidra also going to be removed, but I will be in a deep sleep called samadhi. See, now you see, by going this way, I am shedding all my impediments and I am trying to be myself, and therefore I must be in some form. That is the fourth part, which we call it turiya, but we call it atma. It is not a state. Don't think it's a state, but it is the true nature of ourselves. It is real. It is truly real. And I put this word unknowable. Why? Because you are a student of Vedanta. We've gone through this in the 3 or 4 lectures before in a Vedanta session. Known and unknown are knowable. Everything that is known is already known. Everything that is unknown is knowable if you have the right tools. I do not know the galaxies beyond. Then Hubble telescope came. The unknown becomes knowable. I can't travel beyond the interstellar space. In 10 years, 20 years, a new technology will come. Knowable. Everything that is unknown becomes knowable. Because that is, the Prakritis keep on revealing to you. You want to see the child? Yeah, see it now, see it now, see it now, see it now. So it is keep on dancing in front of you and giving you so much to see, never ending, because you can never end. So that is known and unknown. What is unknowable? Unknowable is neither known nor unknown, because it is the knower, one who knows. The eyes can see everything, but the eyes cannot see itself. You can take a mirror in front of me, I say, this is your eye, you see it. But I see in the mirror my pratibhimbam of my eye, not my true eye. You just cannot do. It's logical sense, common sense. So the subject, one who knows everything, is unknowable. It is not a limitation. It's a glory. It is not, you don't need to be ashamed to say it's unknowable. You need to be proud to say unknowable, because incomprehensible. You see, now you see, it's not the Ishvara is alone unknowable. Atma, I am unknowable. So that here he calls it Omkara. So therefore, the first step learning we do is that we take travel. Our travel is now towards the truth. That doesn't mean that you will not perform what you need to perform. That's why karma yoga has to be there, and dharma has to be there. You have to sleep, you may have to dream, you may have to do this thing. But your journey, your inborn journey, your propelling motivation, your attitude to life, your approach to the world, everything towards the truth. That is called spirituality. Spirituality is not going around the temple. That helps you. Spirituality is actually to understand the true nature of oneself. For that, here we are going to do Omkara. Okay. Now, how they are different? To show that, the Upanishad talks about the individual, the personalities. See, the reason why my hunger in dream is irrational, because I went to sleep after having a sumptuous food. The hunger comes because of the body, right? I am the same person, but the dream I am feeling hungry. Of course, I can say when I'm waking up, that's a dream, but unreal. But the dreaming, I'm experiencing it. You know, you'll see. I mean, I've seen one case where the person felt his body is burning, and he just couldn't sleep. He was crying so much. So therefore, the experience is differing. Therefore, the personalities differ. So the one that is in this world actively engaging everything is called Vishwa. So I am a Vishwa, you are a Vishwa. The Vishwanatha is the God. The Vishwa is everyone is a Vishwa. Aham is my most personal name, most real name. Vishwa is my personality name. I am become the Vishwa. Same way, one who is sleeping is called Taijasa. So the different, I mean, we can go through in great detail when you learn the Upanishad. A different embodiment, because what we learn in the thing, objective experience is different, means are different. In the Visva, the world is your experience. The means is all your body and mind and intellect. In the dream, what is the instruments of experiencing it? Only the mind. Body is not acting, senses are not acting, it's a mind. Now, what is the object? This is very interesting. The object in the dream is your dream world. Who made this world? Who created this world? You. With what? With yourself. So Vedanta therefore says, this as a individualized, limited Atma, Jiva, you create a dream and dream world and experience and enjoy, suffer. You endure that, and then you get fed up and then come out of it. Imagine the same thing in the Mahapurushas do the same thing. The whole world is created, Srishti created. Because your dream has got a very limited part. You only apply your mind. Therefore, when you come out of this mind, it gone away. But when you are applying a lot more power, it becomes a gross world. So we also saw that in the Tattvabodha. The first one is Jagrita, second one is Swapna, third is Sushupti. The deep sleep, you are called Prajna. Prajna is one is with the inner consciousness, subconsciousness. In a causal world, Sthula, Sukshma, Karana, Sarira. So there are three different personalities. They're not the same. But then comes the question, how do I know I dreamt? Because I have a smriti written down that you are dreaming. The Nidra Vritti comes into deep sleep. How do I know I slept? But when I get up, there must be a logbook written, Nidra Vritti from this time to this time. Therefore, who is the logbook keeper? That must be somebody who is in the constant in all these things. Now, if I travel in a lift, I go to floor 1, floor 2, floor 3. Floor 1 is red color lights and floor 2 is a blue color light. Floor 3 is a green color light. And you're watching me from the opposite building. In each light, I look very differently. Then I come down. Same person with different personality. So therefore, the fourth state, what is there, is Turiya in the Upanishad. It's also called the Atma. Now, if you, so this you had to contemplate. And if this is true, then we cracked it, because then the Cosmic Purusha, also the same thing. So if I am now not this individual body, I am this whole universe, then I have become the Virat Purusha. Like Bhagavan comes as in chapter 10 and Vishwarupa Darshan, he's a Virat Purusha. Everything is, when Draupadi gives a little, one what do you call that? One rice, one grain of rice, because that's what left. And there are Maharishis sitting outside to have a feast by Draupadi, and Draupadi is now impoverished. There's nothing, no money there. And food is all empty, and the husbands have eaten everything. Then Krishna comes in and he eats just one grain, and everybody's stomach is filled. Is it logical? Yes, it is logical. Of course, he's Bhagavan, so we can say no question there. But even take as a Mahayogi, So his yoga is Virat Upasana. He is doing Upasana, Dhyanam on his whole universe as his body. What happens when you do Upasana, yoga, japa, dhyana on an object intensely, you become that object. Therefore, the whole world becomes your body. So when he eats, everybody eats. See? That's what you must understand. So, but by he doing that, he is not that to show Draupadi his power. See, he is showing that this is your evolution. Create Sarvatma Bhavam. Virat Upasana do. And when you are a subtle form, Hiranyagarbha Upasana. And in a conscious state, Shaguna Brahma. Ishvara here is Shaguna Brahma. Maya Rakitam. Prakriti Rakita Purusha. Prakriti Sakita Purusha is Ishvara. Prakriti Rakita Purusha is Brahman. See, in all this now you can see there's a logic there. Therefore, when you do the Upasana, when you do the Japam, when you do Omkara Japam, therefore you are going to take the Virat as your body, Hiranyagarbha as your subtle knowledge, Ishvara as your consciousness. And that's how you do the Omkara Upasana. Then in the Upanishad, in the 8th to 12th sloka, okay, got 5 more minutes, and let's see. Let me just take 5, maybe 10 minutes I take. So the first one is Upanishad says, look, now I'll give you a little bit more handle to hold on to. The Vishwa is the world that is there. It is not evolved and over from the stone to rock to, see, it all there. That's how in Vedanta we believe. Let there be, and it is there. Like Bible says, let there be, it is there. Like that, what is there when you just open up is the akara sound. Akaranam, aksharanam, akarosmi, Bhagavan says. When you open the mouth and if you just exhale, the sound is akaram. That's the first one. Because it is created, it has become gross. The shabda, which is in your Mula Prakriti, has come out and becomes a gross form, energy shabda. So therefore, all creation is attributed to Creation means grossification, vyavakarikam, interaction. Therefore, the Jagrada is considered as Vishwa is That's why in Bhagavan, when Shurupam, when he was giving, he says Akaram. He's also going to say Om Ityaksharam Brahma Vyavakam Mam Anusmaran. Later he's going to say in Akshara Brahma Yogam that you have to do Upasana and Om. But he does say that I am Akaram. Now when you say and then now you want to close the I want to stop the you close the mouth, the sound is coming. So when you close the mouth, nothing else acting. Your tongue is not coming, your palatal is not touching anything. You just do, just the air, this prana comes out open, and when you close it, the sound gets modulated and comes okaram. So to sustain the sound and to modify, to reach a complete assimilation, you need ukaram. Therefore, the sustenance part is called ukaram, hiranyagarbham, taijasam, swapnam. Now, when you keep the sound still coming, it ends with M. Makaram. Now what happened to the sound? It is there, it percolates, it goes on, sustains. And at some stage, it is inaudible, incomprehensible, and it becomes absolute silent. But when there is an effort to create, silence gives birth to I again. So the Omkara is, you can see so many matras, you can say Om, Om, Om. You can count the matras, you can say one matra, two matras, that's fine, doesn't matter. At least as far as I know, there is no much difference in it. But the philosophy is therefore is to understand this is how it is. The swaras or the vowels we say in English, right? The swaras, like if I call, say, Krishna, I call Krishna, Balaji, Raju. So all this, everything will drop. Now every other letter is a modification of your palatal and the tongue movement. They're all sub-created ones. But the swaras will stay. Krishna, I will always say, in Tamil we call it Uyirezhuthu. It will never die. It is always there. The other thing also, because A opens, U modifies, and Im concludes, and all this happen with the basic dhvani of shabda of the tongue. And we know that sound creates letters creates words create meaning, vakyas, arthas. Therefore, you can have a logical conclusion that every word, every letter, every word, every meaning, every vakya is therefore born out of this akara, ukara, makara, shanti. Sandhi means, for example, sun, Surya, Surya Udayam, Suryodayam, Surya Udayam. The U and A, Surya, A, U, if they join, become O. Now, some people, pronounce it AUM, like Buddhists do. No. Omkara, Shanti is very important. It's Om. Don't know, even though it's shown as 3 syllable, it is Om. Shanti comes in. So, what I was trying to say, that for the letters, syllable AUM, still one matra, all this one matra, they are the breeders of every word and every letter, right? We just saw. Because the A, O, M is a basic prana coming out of the mouth. No language here, not talking about Sanskrit or Tamil or English. Language doesn't even come. Language hasn't born yet, right? Shabda has born. Shabda has come. A, O, M. Language is what? Language is taking the Shabda and creating a structure, writing a scribe, and then using it. Language is derived from this. Words derived from this. The Bible says words. Smriti says Vakya Vritti. But Veda says Shabda Pramana. Shabdam is the first one. Now, what do we therefore conclude from that? We conclude that if that sound is giving all the words, every word that we use to call everything in this world must be within this home. Therefore, if I call Rama, Krishna, Shiva, Parvati, Jesus, Allah, yeah, I made up a name using the words of the Shabda of what? Om. You understand? So now you see the importance of Om has come now in 3 different angles. Om as the pranabam of the Ishvara, and then we saw that in the Atma Tattvam, the 3 different status. It represents as a representation for it. We also look at the Paramatma Tattvam as that cosmic body, cosmic evolution, Srishti, Layam, and all that. Also, in a linguistic way, in a matra, you see, language and speaking and words, never underestimate how blessed we are. Even every living form has got some sort of a mind, some sort of consciousness. The basil plant, if you don't put water for 2 days, it is sagging, and the moment you put a little drop of water, it smiles at you, right? They all respond some way. Birds come and cuckoos cry for food. They all try to what they do. Every living thing try to communicate. Communication is the blessing. It's a boom. We have to really use it well, not abuse it. That's why hitam vata, satyam vata. You cannot just use words just like that, because every time you spilling words in the mouth, besides hurting or not, you're actually losing your treasure. Prana. See what happens also when people die, this speech will come down. The last form of prana's exit is that you become speechless. That's why when all this pandits and mahatmas do Vedadhyanam, which are making sound all the time, we treat them well, we feed them well, they have to eat them well, eat well, because they are spending a lot of prana shakti. So that's why when you take Om, which can compress everything, and the Om is being meditated, and it is giving you the Chitta Vritti Nirodham to completion stage. So we will see in the maybe I'll stop it here logically. So I just want to finish a couple of points on this. So I will do that in the next session, and then we will talk about. Right now, I understand Om. Om is very reverential. In all religion, in Christianity say Amen, Amen. The Nakaram is added. There's a language variant. Amin in Islam, or in every language. In Sikh also, Omkaram is a very important point. In some form, the Om sound has got thing, and there are a lot of people who also claim about the cosmic sound sounds like Om, and in a particular frequency, if you tune it, the cosmic sound, it is Om. So all that is all true. After some time, what happens is confirmation bias comes in. So whatever you want to look for, you see evidence for it. So, but we don't need to really drag this into proving anything beyond what is already said. So, see, remember that logic is a dangerous path. You should be able to dispose of the logic and arguments at some stage, because it is important. Even that's why even Vedantis in Advaita and Shankara or Gaudapada, what they used was, they used the argument, Siddhantam of one school to other, and they say, okay, both of you fight and sort out the issue. That's why Advaita has no quarrel with anybody, because we don't conclude independently. We conclude, we stay with Vedas because it's comfortable and it is assuring one. So we see in the next class, last part, then we see how to do the Omkara Dhyanam. Then we see, if you do the Omkara Dhyanam, what is the benefit? What are the impediments and how the impediments are resolved? And then we take some simple steps. Okay. So let's take the Shanti Padam now. Om Ashadoma Shattamaya
Satgamaya
Masoma Jyotirgamaya
Jyotirgamaya
Nityoma Amardam Gamaya
Amardam Gamaya
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Shanti.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.